Hi, today is Tuesday, the 28th of September 2021. First off, I'd like to say thank you to Tita Nini who have loved, who have heart my song. Actually, yung A Love to Last a Lifetime is meaningful song which I hope I will be allowed to re-record in a more uh, commercial format. So commercial format meaning I have license and I have a contract to produce and to record those music, those songs, I'll do. So I'd like to say thank you to Optical Media Board for releasing the certification that I need. Um, and I'll tell you more about it in the coming days. I also would like to say na very helpful and informative ang website ng National Privacy Commission or NPC. As it turns out, if I will not spell out and say out loud what NPC stands for, ang dami-dami palang NPC. But NPC stands for National Privacy Commission and very helpful. Pinalabas nila na Citizens Charter to guide someone like me. Actually, sabi ko, ay parang hindi nag-a-apply sa akin yung NPC. And yet, because of some incidences in the past, and then late as I read towards the end, the body of the content of the charter, why is it for the mandate of NPC, I have realized na I'm not late, but I am just in time to comply and register myself, my business, so that NPC will have cognizance over my information platform, over what this is all about, what Tuesday broadcast is all about. Can I just read it? And finally, the justification for the extra compliance to CCTV rules and regulations set by various government agencies, which includes the Data Privacy Commission. Actually, it's NPC, Data Privacy Law of 2012, being administered by the NPC, National Privacy Commission, alongside the law enforcement agencies that require CCTVs on commercial establishments. In other cases, due to the number of complaints that I have already made at various law enforcements and at the Department of Justice, not counting the appeal I asked from various individual professionals in the private sector, I believe I can best show my sincerity and intention to address repetitious, injurious concerns through the actions I take after the fact. So I did everything, documented, reported, submit the documentation, and what happens after that, of course, I have an obligation, my counterpart, in the responsibility to make sure that it doesn't happen again, or if it does, we would be better prepared than the last time it happens. So it is my own lookout, for example, to follow the advisories on self-protection, which nowadays comes in the form of CCTVs. Most, if not all, establishments and some really private, some cautious private homes have already installed surveillance system, more popularly known as CCTV, but subject to compliance to the directives of the Data Privacy Law, National Privacy Commission. At this point in time, the digital signature, which is not the same thing, but connected to proper signs and signages. So actually, there are two topics in this paragraph. The first is the digital signature, what will make it identifiable, who has the proprietarial custodial right over these information so that they will be acceptable because they are properly identifiable. And then I'm also saying something about the proper signs and signages. Di po ba po, this is a CCTV, this establishment has a CCTV, something like that. Basta aware yung mga dumadaan or yung mga papasok sa store or sa establishment na merong CCTV. So proper signs and signages that can be seen and read by people while being within the physical structure of the place, be it as residence and place of work. So however, I talk about the digital signature that can be submitted or turned over because the proprietary and custodial rights have been established, and by being so, it can provide answers both in law enforcement and in legal proceedings. It can, the information contained therein can, there is a way to authenticate it. It will be deemed as acceptable. So it can come from, number one, address or location of the CCTV na established ba, yung address or yung location where it is placed. Number two, CCTV registered operator. So there must be someone, a person, kahit na juridical company, one designated person should be held responsible in operating the technical and the gadget itself, or the hardware and the software and what comes out after. So the data privacy compliance, number three, data privacy compliance, issuing a standard regulation on whose identity can be disclosed and who must be respected and can only be disclosed as needed and after due course. So I was actually, I was quite amused and perplexed that, a customer, for instance, can request a footage of the time that he or she is within the premises with the CCTV, and he or she can apply for it, diba? Especially when dealing with a crime or prevention of it, diba? So that is, they have a law already in place abroad. So it still has, I still don't know whether that applies here in the Philippines. So what happens after the fact of registered CCTV system installed and being operated by Talaga Information and Business Consultancy? It's a juridical entity, and I represent it. So what happens after the fact? Nagkaroon na kami ng registered CCTV system. Number one, this is a tangible connection to previous reports of injurious incidents, justification for added expense and at whose expense, and who can be privy to the footage recorded and live streamed. So obviously, there is a cost to it. And the maintenance of the CCTV and the filing system, there's an added layer of protection, and so it will have expense account. So in not just to be transparent, but for practical consideration, it is only as good as its continuity, as in its consistent application. Diba? So kung matitigil naman siya halfway for lack of funds, well, that doesn't say much about the planning and about execution. So that is the things that I really want to avoid. Number two, the legal status of the footage from this CCTV will be a standard in terms of its function and purpose, both in law enforcement and within legal framework. Though there had been rumors so plenty, many bizarre and real rumor na ano na sila, wrapped around itself that one cannot hope to have a scalpel to distinguish what is real and what is just part of the rumor mill, diba? So, an unconfirmed report of sanctioned cameras in the past to the present, but there is a way to validate its content. Now, kumbaga, because in the presence of the legitimized and acknowledged and open CCTV, it's going to be the benchmark of all the legalization and all the, you know, the digital signature for comparison, so that any other sources of information can be compared to this legitimate streaming of information. So talagang, di ba? Talaga po dapat dumaan sa National Privacy Commission. Like, I should know as the officer that I will be delegating, I should know the directives, the mga sections. So that's the biggest hurdle is the data privacy law of 2012, which was not around before year 2012. Diba? I don't know why not every law, not all the laws that had been passed will be affixed with the year. So it must have some form of significance. Data Privacy Law of 2012. So before 2012, wala pa talagang batas na ganyan. And I don't suppose that it's practical to have everything retroactive, diba? So what it's going to be, 2012 would be a landmark year as far as the data and keeping of files and personal information in the venues and the correct and proper hello, this is yours truly, Clarissa Talaga. And yes, today is Tuesday. It's the 28th of September 2021. I want to share with you because it's much hassle to show the website but I want to read some of the contents that I know will be helpful because, like it or not, we are in the CCTV age. This is another byproduct of the world we live in now, brought on by technology. But previously, there was seldom used for CCTVs, only, the biggest companies with their establishments require this kind of surveillance systems. But nowadays, even the most humble singer, filmmaker like yours truly needs this in the final analysis because some incidents could have been prevented by having this kind of system in place, installed in our place of residence and place of work. So I'm here at the caughtoncamera.net website. It's based in UK, United Kingdom, and I just want to read to you the page that I am in. CCTV legal requirements, CCTV laws explained. Because there are aspects that, because information can travel from one border to another, it is also worth our time to pay attention to how it is being regarded in outside of our country. This month, with Caught on Camera, will be explaining the law surrounding CCTV in the UK. So from their recent posts in the past, they had dealt with how investing in a security camera could save you money, maintaining privacy within your home, the impact of employee theft, CCTV inside my house on a budget. For sure, I'm going to go there next. Best cameras to monitor outside at nighttime. So the categories are CCTV, CCTV cloud storage, CCTV sound surveillance, infographic, motion activated cameras, remote surveillance, security tips. So CCTV laws explained. We want to ensure that our customers understand the procedures that must be followed when installing a CCTV camera and the laws they must abide by. In this article, you will find answers to these are the questions. When do I need to follow the Data Protection Act? Here in the Philippines, it is Data Privacy Law of 2012. CCTV filming, being a CCTV operator, it's a big task. When is CCTV footage okay to hand over? How long should I hold on to footage? CCTV at home, using CCTV responsibly. What should I do if I capture images beyond the property? How do I comply with the DPA, Data Privacy Act? So the first question, when do I need to follow the Data Protection Act? This act entitles you to obtain any information that involves you. This includes CCTV footage and images that could contain something like your car's license plate. Whoever operates the CCTV camera, they must follow a set of rules. If the CCTV footage is being used for harassment or blackmail, then this should be taken into the hands of the police. Diba? So, So I'm not going to read all the questions because obviously we don't have time. So you can browse it yourself, caughtoncamera.net, the legal requirements. This is a UK-based website. But this is important. CCTV filming. Signs must be enforced when CCTV is being used. In the very unusual circumstance that CCTV is in operation in places such as public restrooms, the operator must ensure that everyone is aware that this is the case. This is used for places of serious concern. Sound conversation is not allowed to be recorded. However, exceptions include taxi cabs and police custody suites. Suits or police, yeah, suites. So here, the website has named two exceptions to audio recording. But this is in UK. You can search about it. I will do so here in the Philippines. Taxi cabs, um, you can, in UK, you can actually record audio conversation inside a taxi cab. And police custody suites, diba? So kung nandun ka sa um, within area na may police enforcement operation, whole area, of course, there should be CCTV. So, being a CCTV operator, a trustworthy member of your team should be responsible for CCTV footage. This person should decide what needs to be recorded and how to use it and who they should present it to. So, enroll with the Information Commissioner's Office. In our case, it's the National Privacy Commission, and they have designated a person for such a job, for such a duty na rin siguro. So what is a DPO registration? If I can just, this comes from the National Privacy Commission, or NPC. DPO registration is the process by which a personal information controller or personal information processor, PIP, provides the National Privacy Commission with relevant information regarding its data protection officer. So what is the purpose of the registration system? The registration system is one of the means by which the NPC, the National Privacy Commission, can ensure and monitor compliance of personal information controllers and personal information processors with the Data Privacy Act of 2012. It also assists both the NPC and those involved in the processing of personal data in upholding the rights of data subjects. So data, intel, personal information, whoever has interest to you, they are also in need to be compliant. They need to comply with the NPC guidelines, because no matter how much of interest is that person or is that business, they are still entitled to their own rights, to their own protection under the law. Diba? So who is required to register? A PIC or PIP shall register if it is processing personal data and operating in the country under any of the following conditions. So I repeat, National Privacy Commission is a government watchdog that it's a holdover, it's our concession to the technology that we have now, wherein our personal information, the data or the intel about us can be used illegally, that we can be taken advantage of. And with how much is the CCTV camera nowadays that we can avail of without any requirement other than we have the money to buy it. So, for my part, because of the background, I have been at the receiving end of a demand letter, which is under the mandate of National Privacy Commission, and in turn, I had been violated in the past. So I am very much part of the mandate of where the NPC is operating, or where it is a recognized authority. So that is happening now. And so let me go back. Okay, one final question. When is CCTV footage okay to hand over? I went back to courtmancamera.net. It's in UK. You are within your rights to obtain CCTV footage of yourself, and this is available on request. And you should be provided with the relevant images within 40 days. You may be charged a fee up to £10. This is put in place by Parliament and is called a subject access request. So if you think you have been caught um, in the CCTV of an establishment, you can actually ask a request for whatever reason that it gives you. No. And it's called subject access request. You will have to provide your identity to help the CCTV operator to find you on the system. And they actually charge a fee to that. It's £10. So it is forbidden for CCTV operators to share footage of identifiable people with the media or on the internet for entertainment purposes. The only footage that is allowed to be released is if it's to identify someone for purposes requested by the police. Once CCTV has been requested from the police, the operator must abide by the Data Protection Act to ensure that this footage is safe and secure and not handed to anyone, to any other. And with that, I say the times that we're in, we cannot rely on cover letters or cover information. We really should go directly to where the contents can be read and can inform us.
So, what's the next best thing to one or two official confirmation or notice declaring of substantial accomplishment or a status that can somehow make you proud or make you richer by 1,000 or 100,000, diba? So those are the papers or documents that we would welcome to be in our file and which we will be proud to present, right? So what's the next best thing to having those kind of documents that will not be contested? So assuming it will not be contested, what is the next best thing if you don't have it? Well, in my case, in all of my experience of having this, of doing this business for so long, my question, the right question to ask me would be, what is better than one or two authentic documents? Oh my gosh, what was that? So as it turns out, that noise you just heard, it got my attention to the meat that I am trying to get tender. It's so tough. Going back, the right question to ask me would be, what is better than one or two authenticated documents that would have to go through the due process to be enforced or to move grounds? If that paper says that you would have to replace a name or a circumstance or a status, and that someone will lose what you will gain, of course, it's safe to say that it's not going to work smoothly and uncontested, because usually transfer of rights and transfer of ownership can, if they will change hands, they will change ownership, it's going to be reviewed thoroughly. so thoroughly that it's wishful thinking, and all